Hello, I'm Lee Bradley, this is Dan Webb, and this game here is Quantum Break. Hello.
Hello.
I haven't prepared an intro for this one, Dan.
No, I like it.
It's
more natural.
Is it?
Natural.
Good. Alright, this is Quantum Break, a game that I thought would be rubbish.
And a game that I thought would be alright, pretty good.
Yeah, it's not rubbish.
No, I'm going down a good run.
I really like it. Alright, so I played this recently for a couple of hours at an event in London. They let us capture, and this is 20 minutes, or more specifically, slightly less than 20 minutes. It's like 19 minutes and 23 seconds. People were complaining about previous videos of gameplay and stuff. I'm going to get the story out of the way. Let's do the setup.
Just did a puzzle.
Yeah, I did a puzzle. There's puzzles in this, and there's shooting, and there's all sorts. You'll see more later. Alright, so Quantum Break is about a bloke who accidentally gets like super time powers.
How?
Well, his best friend, or like a friend from his past, is working on basically a time travel machine. It all goes a bit tits up. It causes a problem in the world, so like time is stuttering and kind of breaking, but it also gives him a number of like superpowers that he can mess with, more of which we'll see in a bit.
You just picked up a narrative object.
There's lots of those things scattered about.
There's another one.
Basically, right, Quantum Break, I don't feel like their messaging's been a bit crap. It's a really like nice action game with a decent story, puzzles and shooting.
Okay.
Like, forget all the other stuff.
It's basically Remedy.
Yeah, it's a Remedy game.
Remedy game.
It's got like, yeah.
It's got shooting like Max Payne.
Yeah.
With puzzles, elements and stuff like that. And it's got, has it got kind of any survival horror stuff?
No survival horror stuff that I've seen.
Yeah, but it's got a great narrative like Mr. Wake.
Yeah, and it's really well told. The cutscenes are really good. Like the graphics, I hope you can kind of see it properly. I thought it looked even better in person, to be honest, even though this is captured in 1080. It's really, really good. That's Rich sneezing in the background. And I got a Chivo.
There you go.
All right.
Everybody quick, gather around.
I do loads of the abilities here, so I'm going to talk you through them. That one was like a charged attack that I just learned that basically blows shit up in an area.
Oh, shit,
yeah.
What's that going stuck in the air? Is that what you did?
Yeah, because you're kind of causing like a time explosion.
Oh, okay.
That thing that I'm doing there is like a shield. So even though there's cover mechanics, you can just go out in the open and bust your shield out when you need it.
Shield, what does the shield do? Like, it doesn't stop bullets; it just slows them down. Or
well, it does. No, I think it stops them.
Oh, okay.
But as soon as you move out of it or shoot, then it disappears.
Okay, and then do the bullets carry on then?
Yeah, but I think they just kind of disappear.
Oh, nice.
You can do like dashes into people to knock them, like I just did there. You can like rewind time in sections to solve puzzles. There's all kinds of stuff. And you got to bear in mind, this is like the second chapter of the entire game.
So it's going to get more complex.
Yeah. So there's no like RPG elements in terms of like the weapons. Your weapons are your weapons, and you can pick them up off people. Like he's got a shotgun, for example, that he's trying to shoot me with. Once I down him, I can pick that up. The unlocks that you have are all things that relate to your time abilities.
Oh, yeah, naturally, right? Because, yeah, you can upgrade a shotgun, but shotgun is still going to be a shotgun, right?
Well, yeah, the only reason I was saying this, in fact, is because somebody was in one of our streams the other day talking about the fact that it's got RPG stuff like that. It hasn't. It's an action game.
But it's got RPG elements in your...
Well, it's unlocks, but it's not like XP that you earn, as far as I can remember. It's just like you can unlock something now, click a button, and that's what you do.
Okay.
So that's the one. This one here, it freezes them, and it sucks up bullets. And when it reaches a certain amount of bullets, it explodes. And one of the upgrades for that is you can get it to suck up more bullets, so it does a bigger explosion. Do you know what I mean? Those are the kind of upgrades that you get. The cover thing I was really kind of surprised by as well. So there's a cover
the little ripple effect
mechanic. There's loads of cool shit in this. That's my shield because I'm out in the middle and I'm dying, so let's bust the shield out. But yeah, so the cover mechanic, it's all like contextual, so you don't press to snap into it or anything like that. You know, kind of like in Tomb Raider or Uncharted, if you walk near to a wall, they kind of put their hand out on it. It kind of works like that. Okay. Do you know what I mean? It's just smooth and unobtrusive, and it works pretty well. So if you go near a low one, you'll duck down. If you go near a high one, you'll kind of stick to it, but you'll still be upright. Okay. It works like really, really well. You've played this before, haven't you?
I haven't, no.
Have you not? So all of the previews you've been have just been like hands off?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I could always tell that it was my game. And I could tell it was a Remedy game. Like the writing was like Sam Lake is a great writer.
Yeah, the story's pretty engaging, and it's there's lots of cutscenes, but it's not the kind of game where you walk for 5 seconds and there's another 5-minute cutscene. It does it quite smoothly.
You'll die.
No, I'm not. Because if I had, I'd have edited it out. There's a few things. So you'll notice some transitions in here that I've cut out. It's either stuff... I didn't die in any of this, but it's usually stuff where I got lost.
Okay.
So whereas it is linear, it's totally linear, there's... The areas... Some of the areas are large enough that you can not know where you got to go next. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the puzzles where they're really quite simple, if you don't know what you're doing, like... You'll see it in a little while later, a bit where I just forget about one of my abilities that I needed to solve a puzzle. In fact, it might be coming up. But yeah, was this the first time that they've let the press play it then?
Yeah, I don't think Rich has played it either.
Have you played it, Rich?
No.
Interesting,
No.
I didn't realise that. Alright.
But it was the same with Alan Wake.
Was it?
I didn't play Alan Wake until like 2 months before launch.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know anyone that played it like 4 months away from launch.
Okay, that's
No,
interesting.
I think the game came out in like March, was it? Or May, or one of them. It was a month ending in a Y. And, but I think it was like the press saw it in January, and then the second, not the second tier, but there was like the magazines went to see it in January, and then everybody else saw it in February, and I think it came out in March or something like that.
Okay.
Or that was the kind of timing.
So what you just saw there was, you can't even really call it a puzzle, can you? But there's a room that we had to get into. I rewound time, so I got rid of all of the boxes and shit that were in the way. That stuff doesn't stay rewound. It's just for a few seconds. So that gave me enough time to do whatever I need to do with the computer, and now I can jump back out again.
Okay.
There's a few little bits like that.
That's cool.
I was chatting to one of the Remedy people. It wasn't Sam, although I did interview Sam, about... Because he said, what do you think? And I said, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be rubbish, but I really enjoyed it. And he said... the thing that he spoke about was the marketing. They've deliberately not... They wanted there to be some kind of sense of discovery to people playing it.
Right.
It's not like an Assassin's Creed where like every other day they've released a trailer.
It seems like the opposite of video game kind of almost marketing these days, where they go for hype over anything else.
Or just like they go almost over the top.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They overhype things, and when
Yeah.
people get the game, they're always disappointed.
Yeah. I don't know why I was just
they've
standing there,
overhyped
by the way.
it in their mind.
Yeah, no, totally.
But this feels like the opposite. This feels like they've underhyped it, and it might be a really good game,
But the thing about it is,
which I'm okay with.
because it's been delayed so often, because it's been delayed a few times now, hasn't it?
And it's changed.
Yeah, and
like,
it's changed.
'cause it was going to be like this big TV thing.
Yeah,
and then-
usually that means that there's trouble with
Yeah.
it. Do you know what I mean? Like, typically, that's what most gamers think. If you don't hear anything from a game for a few months and it gets delayed, you think, oh shit,
Yeah, right.
it's in trouble. But nothing I've played suggests that there's anything wrong with it. That TV stuff's still in there.
Yeah, but it was a bigger part, right?
Yeah, they're not really. They don't. Well, during the playthrough that I did, so what happens is the game's divided into chapters, and
Each chapter has a TV episode, right?
yeah, but there's more to it than that. I learned. So you play through as this fella. I've forgotten his name. It's not important.
Sean Ashmore.
Thank you.
No, that's
the actor's
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Yeah. So you play through these bits.
His
A chapter of that.
Quantum, right? And his surname's Break.
His name's actually Quantum Break. Yeah.
Jack Joyce.
Jack
his name
Joyce.
is.
Thanks, Rich.
It's like a little voice.
And once you've done this chapter, you play another section as the bad guy.
Which is what the TV show is about.
And then
Right.
decisions that you make playing as the bad guy, what you can either do is you can role play the bad guy and do what you think he'd do, or you can make decisions that you think will make your main character's life easier.
Okay.
And then also decisions that you make in that affect the live show. So at the end of those chapters, you then watch 20 minutes or whatever it is of a live action show. And there's like thousands of different variants of that show depending on the
really?
things that
Oh,
you've
wow.
done. It might just mean that like there's one line of dialogue that's in there or isn't, but whatever, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I skipped all that shit though.
Well, that's just an added extra now, right? Because
Yeah.
it was this big kind of when Microsoft were going through their period of what's the word they use?
TV.
No, it's not like syndication. No, there's a phrase for it.
I don't know what you mean.
Where you have cross genres across.
Transmedia.
Yeah, that's it. Good old Rich there in the back with his little voices. But yeah, the whole transmedia stuff was a lot bigger, and now it just seems like a game with it there as well.
Well, they had like Microsoft Entertainment Studios or whatever the fuck it was called. They were going to go big on that, but they ditched it, didn't they? But anyway, yeah. So that's in there, and you can kind of ignore it or play it as you wish. The episodes stream, so they don't take up because there's so many different variations of the episodes. It would be fucking huge to download and store.
Online only TV show. What?
You can choose to download it if you wish, I believe.
Oh wow!
But if you just leave it by default, it streams.
Oh man!
One of the other things so when I did the interview with Sam Lake, he was talking about. We did an email interview with Remedy a few weeks ago. And
Christmas, right?
Really extensive. They went to town with it. It was great. Everybody from the studio kind of pitched in. Right? And one of the things that they said was that initially the time mechanics that they've got, of which as you've seen, there's a whole bunch of them, were more complicated, but they had to kind of scale it back. We didn't get a chance to follow up then, so I followed up with Sam, and he explained that what would happen is that you'd go into a situation, but then you could rewind time. And then there would be you and the things that you did the first time along. You'd be playing alongside them, and then you could rewind, and there'd be another one and another one until there was like an army of you.
Yeah.
And he said that it was cool and that, and they liked it. But one, it was super complicated, and two, it made it more like a strategy game. And Remedy don't make strategy games; they make.
I was waiting for you to cotton onto that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. There's another one coming up as well.
Oh really? Oh wow. Because I was like, just rewind time.
Yeah, I know. All right. So that was how it originally was. It was kind of like Super Time Force, but AAA and sexy and everything.
Yeah, keep an eye on the channel because we'll actually run that as a separate little video because it's really interesting.
Yeah, he chats for about 5 minutes and goes into more detail about it. But interesting stuff.
What Quantum Break used to be.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and this is where you rewind time again, right?
Because it's been you just jump down.
Oh really?
Yeah, there was a prompt there. It would have done something. Don't know, but I just walk out the door.
Oh, okay. What happens if you wanted to get to the top? There might be some secrets and stuff.
There might be secrets. So it's probably one of them collectible things, isn't it?
The narrative collectible.
Yeah, and apparently some of the collectibles in the game only appear if you've picked certain things.
Fuck, man.
So like you watch an episode of the live series, there's like a close-up on a fucking thing of lipstick or something, and then it will turn up as a thing in the game that you can collect.
Oh, wow.
The other thing is
what's this?
That is it's like a memory.
Oh, okay.
So your
like an Echo from The Division.
It is a little bit like in fact, it's very much like an Echo from The Division. You can kind of piece together the story.
What's Ashmore like?
He's good.
Is he? I never really liked him as an actor. I didn't dislike him. I was just. It's Ashmore.
So the whole game is very straight-faced and serious. Do you know what I mean? But it works in a kind of. Do you know what it reminds me of? Lost. The kind of tone of Lost.
Okay.
Where it's a bit kind of trashy TV show, but a good one that you like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the voice acting's really good. It looks like the only one thing I noticed that was weird in the cutscenes. It looked like they mocapped the actors' faces and then just animated their bodies, so they don't look like they're attached properly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my only kind of half thing. Oh, and some of the barks are stupid. But when Microsoft at the end,
wait, what were you saying earlier on about the enemies?
They shout things like, "Shit, he shot me," and I don't think that's something that you'd say.
So now this is where you should rewind time again, right?
That's correct. Or just try and jump up there for about half an hour, Dan.
Is this where you're talking about you forgot?
Yeah, I forgot about the rewind thing.
And then you
have
can't
to get
rewind it
off.
when you stood on it because
exactly.
it's going to crush you.
Yeah. We got there in the end.
We did.
Boom. So that's how it works.
Okay, so there's going to be some cool puzzles by the look of it then.
Yeah. None. I think the beauty of them is none of them are super complicated or anything.
But they're interesting.
But and it allows the pace of it to be better. So you have a nice little combat section, then you have a nice little bit where you do a puzzle, then you watch a cool cutscene.
I think that's what a lot of games get wrong, almost like balance and pacing.
Pacing is a big deal, right? And especially because the way games come together at the end, it's hard to smooth that shit out.
Uncharted is a game that does good pacing.
That does really good pacing.
Like,
and then quiet moments, no, for sure. So you don't get kind of like combat weary. Or whatever.
Right.
Like, but they've had a long time. They've had like best part of 5 years to make this game. This was, if not the first game ever announced for Xbox One, then certainly one of them. Because it was announced at that very first reveal when they barely talked about games, did they? They were talking about the TV and entertainment stuff, and everyone got the ump. But yeah, and it's had a load of changes. Like the actors changed. It wasn't always Sean Ashmore; it's some other dude.
Well, I heard differently.
Well, they said...
I heard that Sean Ashmore was in it, but they just put somebody else's face in it just as a placeholder.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they said to us in that interview?
They said something along those lines, yeah. But they slightly contradicted that in the presentation that they gave before the thing. Or they chose not to elaborate during the presentation.
Okay.
One of the two.
You did?
Nah, mate.
Oh, that was another body. I thought that was your body.
Told you I would have edited it out if I'd have died.
Just want to call it. This is must be like the 10th game in a row that I've called.
What, where I thought it'd be rubbish and it turns out to be good?
Or vice versa.
I believe it's going to be good. I've got high hopes for it. It's almost like, you might disagree with me, but it almost feels like an old-fashioned thing now to have a story-led single-player game that isn't heavy on RPG shit. It's not got like a fucking multiplayer thing.
Yeah,
it's just a well-paced cinematic action game.
I mean, the last one I remember was Max Payne 3. Which wasn't created by Remedy, but it was a brand
that they created. Yeah, no, totally. They you just don't see many of them.
I guess
Uncharted, like even Tomb Raider, it doesn't really count as one of those kind of games, really, because they went full in with the crafting and the RPG and all that shit. Jivo. In a minute, we're gonna see a different kind of enemy. So these people here, they are subject to the time changes that happen that you have no control over. So time's just fucked up and weird time shit happens. And if it happens, then they freeze. Yeah, that's how it works. But there are enemies who are not subject to that.
Like you.
Kind of like me, but they've got a suit that enables that to happen.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? They're like, I don't know what they're called. I guess they're... Actually, I do know, but it's a spoiler. There's a twist that happens, like, not even a twist, but there's a plot development that happens relatively early on.
Let's not even talk about
Yeah, no, I'm not going to. But we're already aware that Littlefinger's the bad dude, right? And that Lance Hendrick, or whatever his name is, Henrik from The Wire's in it. Reddick. Thank you. What would we do without Rich?
The Wire?
Yeah.
You mean from Fringe?
No, I mean from The Wire.
No, mate.
The Wire over Fringe
As
every time.
The bald guy?
The kind of skinny-ish,
deep
voice fella.
Yeah, like, hello, agent.
Yeah, that's exactly what he sounds like, yeah. So you can see now, like, all of those other people haven't got the suit on. These dudes have got the suit on, and that allows them some of my abilities and the ability to... I think it's a tear. Do they call it a tear?
Probably, yeah.
Or maybe that's Bioshock Infinite. But anyway, they can move around and shit.
So this won't work on them?
They're still susceptible to time shit.
But they can do time shit?
They can move around within these things, whether they're called tears or whatever, and they can, well, you saw it, they can like zoom and shit.
Is that guy dead?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
It's a great kind of freezed time animation, just in the air, like, ah!
The effects are really cool, don't you think?
Yeah,
like the visual effects. It's a good looking game, and like the facial animations are really good. The cutscenes are great. They do a weird thing where, like, if a character's watching telly in the game, then the telly stuff isn't computer graphics, it's live action.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of weird. Rich called it jarring. You thought it was jarring, didn't you, Rich?
A little bit.
It is a little bit strange. And there are loads of Alan Wake references. So that's it. We've come to the end. It's gone really quick. This is Quantum Break. It's out on April 5th for Xbox One. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.